Chris Rea, Christopher Anton Rea, is an English singer-songwriter and guitarist from Middlesbrough whose career combined chart success with a deeply personal blues rock identity, later reshaped by major health crises. What follows is a full biographical topic starting from the beginning, covering his family roots, early ambitions, breakthrough, peak years, later projects, and the long fight that redirected his art. Early life and family roots. Christopher Anton Rea was born on 4 March 1951 in Middlesbrough, then in the North Riding of Yorkshire, into a large Roman Catholic family with 6 other children. His father, Camillo Rea, originally from Arpino in the province of Frosinone, Italy, and his mother, Winifred Casely, Irish, gave him a mixed Italian-Irish background that later shaped both his private identity and some of the themes that surfaced indirectly in his work. The Rea name was locally well known because of the family's ice cream factory and cafe chain, a business environment that exposed him early to routine labor and public expectations. From the age of 12, Rea worked in the family operation, clearing tables in the coffee bar and helping with ice cream production, learning the discipline of service and repetition long before he learned what touring demanded. As a teenager, he wanted to become a journalist and attended St. Mary's College in Middlesbrough, an ambition that hints at a key trait that would later define his songwriting: the urge to observe, describe, and turn lived detail into narrative. In his own recollections of that period, he described being expected to help develop the family business while he gravitated instead toward music, spending time in the stockroom with a slide guitar rather than chasing the global concern he imagined the business might become. A late musical start and the formation of his style. Rea's story differs from the standard child prodigy arc. He began taking music seriously later than many peers, which helped push him toward feel, tone, and storytelling rather than flashy virtuosity. Over time, his vocal identity, gravelly, intimate, and immediately recognizable, became inseparable from his guitar approach, especially his expressive use of slide that could sound like a second voice weaving around the lyric. This combination would later make him an unusually cinematic songwriter, not because the songs were grand, but because they conjured places, weather, roads, and emotional aftershocks with minimal fuss. The Benny Santini, conflict and debut breakthrough. When Rea entered the recording industry, there was early pressure to package him under the stage name Benny Santini, a marketing move he resisted. The tension became part of his debut era's mythology. His first album, Whatever Happened to Benny Santini, 1978, released that story into public view and introduced him as a singer-songwriter with strong melodic instincts. The record's breakout song, Fool If You Think It's Over, became his best-known early single and his highest-charting US hit, reaching number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and spending 3 weeks at number 1 on the Adult Contemporary chart, achievements that also brought a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist, 1979. That early success created a defining tension for the years ahead. A portion of the industry and audience heard Rea as a polished soft rock craftsman, while he increasingly heard himself as a blues-rooted guitarist and mood writer. The song's recognition also exposed him to mainstream expectations that did not always match his private priorities, especially his preference for family life over the kind of international celebrity that demanded constant reinvention and relentless travel. Even in this early stage, the seeds were visible of the long road persona he would later embody so naturally, grounded, wary of hype, and committed to craft more than spectacle. Rather than disappearing after an early hit, Rea built steadily across the 1980s, strengthening his European audience and developing the atmosphere-driven sound that would become his hallmark. Albums from this era, including Wired to the Moon 1984, helped move him toward a warmer blend of rock and blues shading, where guitar tone and vocal grit mattered as much as chorus hooks. By the time On the Beach 1986 arrived, he had established a signature emotional landscape, reflective, travel-haunted, and built around the feeling that memory and motion are inseparable. In the same general mid-1980s period, Driving Home for Christmas emerged and later became one of the best-known holiday songs in the UK, cementing a different side of his appeal, an ability to turn an ordinary situation into a widely shared ritual of longing and homeward motion. Songs such as Josephine strengthened his reputation for intimate storytelling and melodic restraint, helping many listeners connect him with tenderness rather than rock star posturing. Across these years, he increasingly became an artist associated with real-life detail, fatigue, distance, weather, and the quiet hopes that survive routine. In 1989, Rea reached a commercial and cultural peak with The Road to Hell, which became his first UK #1 album and fixed the road theme permanently to his public image. The album's success wasn't just about sales. It validated a style that mixed radio accessibility with a darker, blues-informed realism, making him feel like a chart artist who still belonged to the world of guitar players and storytellers. For many fans, The Road to Hell marked the moment his lifelong subjects, travel, pressure, modern disillusionment, and the cost of ambition, clicked into one definitive statement. He confirmed that dominance in 1991, when Auberge also reached #1 in the UK, giving him consecutive chart-topping albums at the height of his mainstream reach. Through the early 1990s, he continued releasing major works, including God's Great Banana Skin 1992 and Espresso Logic 993, keeping his sound recognizable while exploring different production textures and lyrical angles. By the later 1990s, releases such as The Blue Cafe 1998 reflected an artist increasingly focused on mood and musicianship rather than chasing pop shifts. Rea's creative interests expanded beyond records and touring into film, culminating in La Passion 1996. The film was written and produced by Rea, directed by John B. Hobbs, premiered at the BFI London Film Festival in November 1996, and featured Rea in a cameo while also drawing on his musical abilities through the soundtrack. Biographically, the project matters because it shows how his storytelling instincts could move into a longer narrative form, connected to identity, family themes, and the emotional pull of heritage rather than pure pop celebrity. A profound turning point arrived with serious illness. Rea was first diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2001 and underwent a Whipple procedure that removed the head of the pancreas along with parts of the duodenum, bile duct, and gall bladder. After that surgery, he faced major long-term effects including diabetes, a weaker immune system, and an intensive daily regimen of medication and injections, alongside further operations. These realities changed the practical shape of his life, but they also changed his artistic center of gravity, pushing him toward work that felt closer to his roots and less dependent on mainstream cycles. His later public health narrative continued to include major incidents. The BBC reported that Rea collapsed on stage in December 2017, and the report referenced his pancreas removal after pancreatic cancer and a stroke in 2016 from which he recovered sufficiently to return to recording and touring. Rea himself discussed still feeling stroke effects, particularly balance issues, in comments cited by the BBC in connection with that period. In biographical terms, these years reframed him not as a nostalgia act, but as a working musician trying to create under constraints that would have ended many careers. Rea's post-illness artistic reinvention became especially visible in Blue Guitars, released 14 October 2005. A large-scale project presented as an earbook, combining 11 CDs, a DVD, and a full-color book with his paintings and writ materials. Released via his own label Jazzy Blue with Edel Records, the set functioned like a personal map of blues history and style, less an attempt to chase hits than to document a deep musical identity. This era solidified the idea that Rea's core loyalty was to tone, groove, and narrative feeling, even when the mainstream spotlight had moved elsewhere. Rea's legacy is anchored in the combination of a distinctive voice, a guitar style closely associated with expressive slide phrasing, and a catalog that includes both major chart successes, The Road to Hell, Auberge, and long-lasting cultural staples, Driving Home for Christmas. He is also widely cited as having sold more than 30 million records worldwide, reflecting substantial international reach beyond any single market. As of late December 2025, some outlets have published obituary-style reports claiming he died around 22 December 2025. But the reliability and consistency of these reports varies, so they should be treated cautiously unless confirmed by top-tier primary or institutional sources.